As I said off the top of the show, we have another huge announcement to make. That's coming up later on. But right now, let me ask you this.
What's the announcement?
Well, you got to wait like everybody else. It's a one-on-one interview with someone as big as you. Hey, this is a promo. Stay tuned. Later on in the show, you will find out about the biggest wrestling announcement maybe ever, but you'll have to wait for it. How's that? Where's the camera I was talking to? Oh, you want to see if it was written? It wasn't written down.
I want to know what it is.
Okay, well, you'll have to wait. Eric Bischoff, when you were ECW, when you were running your company, he gave you no respect. Now you got to work with him. Is that hard, and how much do you not like him?
I hated his guts. He was brutal to ECW. Brutal. I don't know if there was anybody in the industry that I disliked more than Eric Bischoff.
And what's it like working with him now? Because
fine.
Why?
Because he's hungry. He wants to advance.
And he was humbled, right? I mean, he came. Well, if he wasn't humbled, then he's delusional, right? Because things fell apart for him.
You know what? I think anytime you get your ass kicked, it humbles you, and I think it's a good thing sometimes to get your ass kicked, especially in business.
And you probably enjoyed when he got his ass kicked in business, right?
I really didn't care because I was getting my ass kicked at the same time, so I really wasn't paying much attention to him getting his ass kicked. Hey, you know, it's different now because to me, ECW grudges died with ECW. So when I came aboard WWE, it was under the guise of clean slate.
Right.
You know, everything starts from zero.
ECW, one of the things that you had to do is you had to find new talent, right? You couldn't go to WWF and buy them away. You saw some great young talent. When you saw Chris Jericho for the first time, what did you think?
Blew me away.
Really?
He blew me away. Actually, Jericho was recommended to me by Chris Benoit. And Benoit told me, hey, there's a kid, man, he's going to be such a star, and just get in on the ground floor with this guy. And I'd seen a tape of Jericho against Ultimo Dragon from Japan. And as soon as I saw the tape, I started seeking out his phone number because I knew this guy could be a star.
Did he get a fair job, a fair shot at WWE at the top dog spot?
I don't know. I don't know because I don't know.
And by that you mean, I think I'll take a pass.
No, I really don't know because there was a lot of things going on when Jericho was champion. You're talking about a time when Austin was pissed off. You're talking about the time that the NWO came in. There was a lot of things going on at that time. There's a lot of circumstances that are not examined when you just say, well, was Jericho given a shot as champion or is Jericho not given a shot as champion? I don't know. I mean,
how about Rob Van Dam? I mean, to me, he could be the biggest star that your company has, certainly in Raw, but he has not achieved that. Why?
Because at this point in time, the strengths of Rob Van Dam are not as apparent sometimes to this company as they were to me. Because in ECW, I had a real luxury that it's not afforded here in WWE, in that I could go out of my way to hide people's flaws and go out of my way to accentuate their strengths and sometimes lead them by the hand because that's what a writer, a booker, a director, a producer does, in my opinion. And I had the opportunity to take some of these guys and lead them by the hand. And a guy that was good looked great, and a guy that was great looked like the greatest.
Right. Now, you don't write for Rob Van Dam because he's in Raw. What would you do if you had him now?
Rob?
With Rob.
I personally would accentuate his matches more than almost anything else, and I would put Rob in situations that demonstrate just what a tough son of a bitch that he is, because Rob's passion comes out in the ring. Rob's passion comes out in the fact that he can take a real ass-kicking and yet still connect with the audience with a mere look, and then he hits the double thumb.
I asked Taker who was a disappointment to him, Mark Calloway, and he said Big Show.
At the time, that was very accurate.
Yeah, he was talking about a guy who has so much potential and who has never really achieved that. Who's that guy for you? Who could do more with what they got? And it's not really an insult to say it because you're almost admitting that a guy's got some potential.
I don't really know. And I'm not trying to take a pass on the question. I don't really know because it's such a whirlwind in WWE that either you're scoring or you're left behind. I mean, it happens like that.
Okay, I got to throw you a softball because that's tough. Softball, who's the most underrated? Who do you see as is ready to explode, has got huge talent?
Booker T and Rob Van Dam.
Okay.
Big time.
On that note, we go to break. You know, when the softballs start to come, we're going to break.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we'll cut it out. That's why we edit after the show. Just kidding. Well, let us know your thoughts on the guests. This one is for you, Paul. Have you read Hulk's book yet? What do you think? Is he on the level? Have you read the book?
No.
Well, then, you know what? Probably the being on the level, not necessarily relevant. We'll talk about Hulk. Yeah, we will. And the big announcement. The big announcement. When OTR returns.
What is the announcement?
Well, that's why you got to stick around. Before your eyes, but there's a reason why it's phenomenally successful, and I think that Paul Heyman is one of the reasons why. Incredibly creative with the storylines, with SmackDown. Thanks very much for joining us. This was a total pleasure for me.
You've been severely misled.
You know what? Tell me about Hulk Hogan. Let's get back to it. Is there real heat between he and Vince? Do they not see eye to eye?
I feel like Humphrey Bogart in the Caine Mutiny with this thing. I'm sure they don't see eye to eye right now. I'm sure they don't, and there's a lot of reasons why.
And I can ask him myself, because the big announcement is that Hulk Hogan, I think for one of the first times in his career, will do a sit-down, actually 2 1/2-hour shows with us, no holds barred, ask him anything. That is coming up in the very near future. We're still trying to determine exactly what the dates are. Hulk Hogan, one-on-one on OTR. How cool is that?
Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to the camera. Oh, you didn't know this was on the air. Maybe that's why you were so candid.
Oh, we're rolling?
Yeah, we are. Let me ask you some word association. We do that with wrestling guys like you.
With wrestling guys like
Yeah, absolutely.
It's okay, I'll do my best for you.
Jim Cornette. What do you think of him?
Who wrote these questions for you?
Apparently.
We've never seen eye to eye.
Right. Well, what am I going to throw it like your mom? You know, I mean, like let's be a little more challenging than that. Jim Ross.
Interesting guy. Jim Ross gave me my first break as a color commentator, and really taught me the skill.
And he fired you as well, right?
No, Jim Ross never
He
fired
fired you from WCW.
No, he did
Why
not.
are you lying to me,
No,
Paul
I'm not
Heyman?
lying to you. Bill Watts, you got to get your facts straight. Bill Watts fired me.
Yeah, but I know, because JR told me secretly he was pulling the strings to get you fired.
Could I have that tape,
No,
please?
no, he didn't tell me that. I just didn't like to be proven wrong. I made that up, right?
Son of a bitch.
Absolutely. Jerry Lawler, because he was pretty harsh on you, Bingo Hall boy.
Well, I'm sure he was very harsh on me. After all, I took his spot and did better than he did.
Jerry Lawler.
Jerry, I think I just answered.
Okay. Ric Flair.
Ric Flair is a legend who has a love for this business and a love for being in the ring, even at the, I don't know if Ric's 51 or 53, but, I mean, Ric loves to get...
Last word, one line, only have time for this, Bret Hart.
A tragic story.
You know what? He's the guy that, more than anything, I'd love to get him on this show. We're trying. You know what? This was a total pleasure. Paul Heyman, thanks for joining us in OTR.
Thanks for having me. My pleasure.